finally finished it. Hi guys. My name is Riley. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Today is, as of right now, it is the 28th of August, so it's basically the end of August. And you know what that means. That means, let me pick this up real fast. August recap. Yay! Before I start that, I just want to say sorry for kind of ghosting you guys, low-key. If I'm being honest, kind of got a little lazy, kind of got a little nervous of like, I don't know what I'm going to film. I don't know when I'm going to film. And so it just mix of a little sprinkle of procrastination in there. So yeah. But in the wise words of Hannah Montana, everybody has those days, you know? But hopefully I will, next month, in the coming months, from here on out, I will be more consistent. I have a bunch more ideas, so I will be working on that, working on doing better, working on getting better, because I want to make more videos, and I want to do more things. I'm reading a lot more books, so yeah. Without further ado, let's get into it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting and liking. And Sweet Peach, Burt's Bees, highly recommend. Just, yeah, putting that out there. Anyways, we're gonna start off with the elephant in the room. Obviously, as you can see, if you're familiar with this series, this is the last half of the Shatter Me series. I read the first Shatter Me book back in November, and I was obsessed with it. I was talking to my fiance about it. I was like, I want to get more, and he's like, maybe you don't buy more. Maybe you should wait like a month. And that was code for don't buy the rest of the series. I'm going to get them for you for Christmas. And he did. He got me the like the 6 books, like the whole, like the series part. I did end up buying the novellas because I wanted to read those also. So read that. I finished the 3rd one in like end of January. And then this month I picked it back up again because I saw some Aaron Warner fan art thirst trap TikToks, and I was like, I need to finish it. So I finished it. Let's get that over with. I will be going in chronological order. So 4, and then I'll jump to one of the novellas, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, you know, the whole thing. So, book 4, Restore Me. When I was on TikTok, I saw, like, I heard rumors that, like, the 4th and 5th will absolutely, like, throw you for a loop. Like, you think you had spoilers, or not spoilers, but, like, you think you had, like, twists and just, like, crazy revelations in, like, the first trilogy in the novellas. Wait until, like, the 4th and 5th book. So I was expecting, like, some crazy stuff to happen. Yeah, crazy stuff did happen. And like always, I will be referencing my reading journal to give you the deets. I finished these books within the span of like 8 days, and 2 of those days were weekends where I didn't read these books, so I was busy. So I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books in like 6 days. So I was zooming through. So we have first here Restore Me. I started on the 11th and finished it on the 12th. Finished it the next day. I rated it a 10 out of 10. I thought the twists were very interesting. I was thinking to myself, like, okay, you know, Ignite Me ended with, you know, her, spoiler, Ignite Me ended with her killing Anderson and taking over the reestablishment, right? What's gonna happen next? So I was like, okay, and I was reading it. it just dove so much more like deeper into the rest of the world and her family and like where she comes from, and it was insane. It was insane. It was like the last like probably like third of the book, like maybe this, truth bomb after truth bomb after just so much. And I literally, I thought it was crazy. I thought it was really good. It was like setting up the last chapter set up just like so much. And I was like, this is insane. This is insane. Just when you thought you knew what was going to happen, no. I didn't see the twist coming. I haven't heard any other reviews of like people being like, I totally saw it coming. I totally saw it coming. This is so predictable. I didn't. So when I found this out, I was like tweaking at work because I was reading this at work. I was tweaking. Little thought here. Breakup so bad she had to shave her head. Crash out of the century. Yeah. I thought it was great. I was so just like enamored by the world, and I really like these books made me realize how much I'm more of like a dystopian girly instead of like maybe like a fantasy, like a romantasy, that kind of thing. I love dystopian. I love it. I dig it so much. Because it just feels like more real to me. I thought it was great. Yeah. That's pretty much all I can say about that, because I don't want to... I'm just doing reviews. You know, I'm not doing like full like breakdowns and spoilers and all that. I was digging this. Now, we go into the first novella of this like last half of the series. This was 4.5. Find Me. No, sorry. This is the duo. Find Me is a duo. Shadow Me is 4.5. These two, both of these, are from the point of view of Kenji. We have yet to get his point of view before, and that was great. I loved it. Read this. It's like really small, so I read this like literally in like, I don't know, an hour. Not even that. But it was a short retelling of the last couple events that happened at the end of this book, just from Kenji's perspective. So it didn't like, it added like a new perspective to like what was happening, but nothing new was happening, you know? So I liked it. Thought it was cute. Thought it was fun. That leads us into the fifth one. Remember how I said that Restore Me was like going up, and like it ended right up here. It ended right up here. Defy Me kind of just like leveled out. It didn't go up even more. It didn't go down. It just kind of like had this like plateau of just like flat. Like it didn't... I was digging it. Again, I started this on the 12th and finished it the 13th the next day. I was really like expecting, I guess, a bigger climax, because this would have been the climax maybe, but I was expecting more, and I just felt a little like underwhelmed a tiny bit. I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed all of this, don't get me wrong. It doesn't take much to entertain me, if I'm being real with you. But I don't know, I just thought that it was a little underwhelming. I think there were certain scenes in here that felt a little like rushed, or we could have gotten a little bit more depth within the scene, but it still did what it needed to do. It tied up some loose ends, but then it still just created more of like, well, then what's going to happen next? What are they going to do next? How are they going to get out of this? You know? I had some questions from book 4 that weren't answered here. There were some characters that I wish we had more time with. Two in particular, spoiler alert again, Juliet's real parents. I wish we got a little bit more time with them, but it's okay. It's okay. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Yeah. This time we got dual point of views. So we have Warner. I think we have Warner, Kenji, and Juliet. In Restore Me, we have Juliet, Warner, Juliet, Warner. Yeah. So in Restore Me, we have Juliet and Warner. In this one, now we get, not even dual, we get 3 point of views. Juliet, Kenji, and Warner. And I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like having more than 2. If you're going to do multiple point of views in a book, like from like first person point of views, I don't know if you should do more than 2. I don't know. I liked it. Not as much as the 4th. I gave it a 7 out of 10. So like 4 out of 5 stars. Still good. Like I still liked it. I still was like tweaking. I still was just like, what's gonna happen? I just felt like this was like a filler. It was a filler book in between this one and then in between the 4th and the 6th book. So now that leads us into 5.5. 5.5 is going to be Reveal Me. Again, both of these are from Kenji's perspective. Angry Love, Semi-Love Confessions. Yes! It's amazing. It's amazing. I love Kenji as a character. I love him. I love his perspectives. I think he's like the comedic relief kind of, but like he's also like he's a good soldier, warrior, whatever you want to call him. He knows how to handle business. And I like that. Yeah, I loved it. This was different. So his perspective in here was a different part of the story. It wasn't like the events of like what happened in like his first novella where it was just like retelling the events from his perspective. This was different. The ending was like a rush of adrenaline. I loved how like they were in the middle. Oh my gosh! Like they were in the middle of their like love confession and like yelling at each other and like this wouldn't work, but why wouldn't it work? But I like you. Or, like, no, you like her. I don't look at her like I love you. I look at her like I look at you like I love you. And then they're quiet. And they're like, oh. And he's like, no, I didn't mean. She's like, did you mean that? You know? You know? That's totally how it went. But they get interrupted because shit, it's a fan. Part of my French, but it does. You know? And it ends us on a cliffhanger. And by the way, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All of these covers are beautiful. Gorgeous. The cover for the oh my gosh, wait, hold on. Pause. Oh, okay. The cover for the Reveal Me, or the Reveal Me cover, purple. So pretty. I literally was like losing my mind when I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh. That's so gorgeous. I just love it. I mean, this is pretty too, don't get me wrong. But I just love it. I thought it was so pretty. So this one, pretty good. Pretty good. I really like these. I think out of all of the novellas, I like Kenji's the best. And then Warner's, and then Redacted. Adam. We don't, as a fandom, you know, we don't really like him because he's kind of mean to Juliet. Kind of mean. He's horrible to her in like the 2nd and 3rd book. But anyways, I digress. The 6th book. Imagine me. Imagine my disappointment. No, I wasn't disappointed with this. I was a little less disappointed than I was when I read Defy Me. This was a good ending. Tied up some loose ends. It tied up one storyline. It tied up the main storyline. There were still plenty of things I wanted closure on. There were Adam and Juliet's relationship, Kenji and Nazira's relationship. I feel like we didn't get enough of Juliet and another character. Adam and James and Warner's relationship, I feel like I needed more closure with that. And then more about the aftermath of the fall of the reestablishment, because it just like kind of like ends, you know? And I'm like, okay, you know, like, what else are you gonna do? You know, like, I wanted more. Because I just feel like we didn't get any. We didn't get enough. And the epilogue was fine, but it was just kind of Warner talking about the wedding. It was like 2 chapters. The epilogue was small. I'm like, okay, what else is gonna happen? Imagine Me is from Juliet and Kenji's perspective, strictly, and then the epilogue is from Warner's perspective. So it was good. It was good. There was a twist at the end that I felt like didn't need to happen. I feel like there was somebody that was brought back that didn't need to get brought back. And when that happened, I was kind of like, okay. But then when Juliet gets kidnapped for the millionth time, might I add, there was like this, oh my gosh. So, okay. Anderson, Warner's dad, Adam's dad, James's dad, gets killed. We think. At the end of Ignite Me, at the end of the 3rd book, Juliet kills him. We think. Turns out, when he kidnapped the 2 twins, Sonia and Sarah, that can have like healing powers, he made it so that some of their healing powers could be transferred into him. And then he was able to heal from getting shot and killed. And then he came back. And I was like, oh, okay. But then he kidnaps Juliet. And wipes her memory, wipes her brain. And then she starts to like have this thing for him. It was like crazy. It was crazy. When she was like kind of like in her head being like, I'm kind of drawn to him, I was like, are we gonna get into like this weird like age gap kind of like romance thing? And then someone noticed and was like, play into it, because Anderson was like, ew, she has affection for me, she thinks I'm handsome, you know, I have this effect on her, I don't like it. And he's like, play into it, use her, like, get that, like, use that to your advantage, kind of. And I was kind of digging it for a second. I was like, this is so toxic, first of all. And I was like, that's like crazy. It was kind of like cool for a second, it was kind of like hot for a second, but then I was like, no, this is bad. This is bad. And then obviously she got out of it, you know. They saved the world. They saved the world. Yay! So, yeah. I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10. But again, there were still things that I was like, okay, I want more. I still wish we had more time with more people. And there's still things that I feel like I need more from, like, the rest of the world. Like, what happens afterwards. And the good Lord heard my prayers, and by the way, this whole series, the Shatter Me series, is written by Tahira Mapi? Yeah. I hope I'm saying that right. Yes. They heard my prayers and said, okay, we'll give you this then. This is the 6.5 book. This is the last of the first Shatter Me series. Notice how I say first, because she has a new one coming out. But anyways, yes, this was fun. I mean, this, first of all, oh my gosh. Okay, the Shatter Me series, for the most part, is YA, young adult, right? With some fade to black, closed door scenes, kind of, whenever she writes scenes of, like, Juliet and Adam or Juliet and Warner, like, getting semi-intimate, because they are late teenagers. Juliet is 17 or 16 when this starts, 17 I think, when this whole series starts. She writes it tastefully, you know, because it's kind of weird. Like, you don't want to write smut scenes about kids. That's weird. It's weird. But this, no, this is not YA, girl. There is a scene in here. I was like, oh my goodness. I was so like giggling, kicking my feet for real, because this, period. It's just one scene, but still, it was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I should be reading this. Like, do you guys need a room or something? Like, damn. They didn't need a room, they were in a shower. Anyways, this book was good. I thought it was fine. Mainly it talks about their wedding, because they do get engaged. I find Aaron Warner, if you will, insufferable at some points, because he is just mean and rude to Kenji about Juliet's friends. His thoughts about her friends are like he's better than everybody else. And I think that's so ugly, because if you want to be with Juliet, Juliet is like a ball of light. She is like a big heart. So of course she's going to have friends and people around her that she loves and she wants to spend time with. God forbid she wants to eat with her friends, you know, and he's like, oh, do we have to go have dinner with your friends? Like, he's just so, I get it. He was raised by a sociopath to be a sociopath. Okay, I get that. But it just, like, it got to the point where, like, you can't win with him, you know? Like, he's so selfish. The only person he cares about besides himself is Juliet, which, like, nice, but, like, it's just, I don't know. So the way he talked to Kenji in this book really upset me, because I love Kenji. Towards the end, though, when the guys were getting him ready for the wedding, he's like, oh, so this is how it feels to have friends. I don't know how this feels. I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. But my headcanon is that, like, after this, you know, like, he actually becomes friends with Kenji, like, real friends with Kenji. He actually opens up to Kenji, and he also, like, kind of befriends some of her other friends, you know? That's what I hope, because oh my goodness, he's so insufferable. He's so insufferable sometimes. I love him to death. I love Aaron Warner. I think he's such a good book boyfriend. But I think he is just really obnoxious at some points. But yes, this did also talk about some of their plans to help rebuild the world now that the reestablishment has been like destroyed, you know. So I did like this. Thought it was cute. Thought it was a good way to end the series. Adam has his own little girlfriend. That sounded weird. Own little girlfriend. And yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good little addition. I gave it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Altogether, in this series, I overall gave this series a 7 out of 10. So yeah, that was that. Let's get into this, you know, the book that made me crash out like you saw in the beginning. Okay. I was stress reading today so that I could get this done because I had stuff to do after work. I only had time to read this at work. Stress reading this so I could finish it. Because let me tell you something. I am an avid reader of romance. I don't really read books that take a lot of brain power. To read, if I'm being completely honest. So it was kind of a struggle to read this. I started it July 25th. It is August 28th. Granted, like a week of that was taken up by reading these, or almost a week, but it was just like tough to power through because the writing is so much more mature, and it's also just not a romance book. It is a, what was it specifically? Psychological fiction. I saw another one too. Dark academia, period. So it had like, there was romance in there, but it was very, very, very tiny snippets. Very tiny snippets. I have a lot of thoughts about this book. It is a YouTuber that I really like. It is her favorite book. Shout out Brittany Broski. It is her favorite book of all time. She's said multiple times. I do want to say I rated it 8 out of 10 because I enjoyed it. I had a lot of different thoughts that I wrote down that I will share some with you. Bunny's character reminded me, a lot of these characters remind me of like very like Patrick Bateman-esque because of just like how they carry themselves. I don't know if some of the characters were inspired by Patrick Bateman, but Bret Easton Ellis is on the dedication page, and he wrote American Psycho, so that is a possibility. But just the main character is so unreliable. He's an unreliable narrator, and there were times where like I was falling for it kind of because this book is very character driven, so I feel like almost sometimes we're inside his head. And I don't know, you know when like you're telling a story to somebody and it's like almost like they're personal or purposefully putting in little details to throw you off or to elongate the story or to sound more fantastical or whatever. I feel like this book was 550 pages long. 559. I feel like this book could have been like 300 pages. And that's no fault to the author, to Donna Tartt. But this book, by the way, The Secret History by Donna Tartt, I don't think I said that. This book, there would be times when Richard is narrating when I realize, I'm like, what does this have to do with the actual story? There was a part about their winter break where like the first half of him talking about winter break had nothing to do with the story. It had nothing to do with the main plot line, which was, or like the main plot, which was him and his new group of, I wouldn't even call them friends. They were like peers, you know, other students that he was hanging around with. And it didn't really matter, I guess, him talking about his winter break, to me at least, it didn't really matter until, you know, Henry came back into the picture, and then they roped in, you know, his trip with Bunny, and like what was, like, why, you know, why Henry is back from Rome so early. Like, what happened on your trip with Bunny that was so bad that you had to come home alone and early, you know? So I feel like there were some things, there are also some other paragraphs where I just be like, this has nothing to do with like the main story. Like, what are you talking about? I would get lost. I'm like, wait, what is he talking about? He heavily romanticizes his time at Hamden, his friends, the characters, the twins, Camilla and Charles, Henry, Francis, and then Edmund, but they called him Bunny. Heavily romanticized them, so much to the point where, like, when they said their real ages, I was like, oh my gosh, this, like, the way he makes all of them sound to be, he makes them sound to be so mature and so much older than they really are. Henry and Francis were 21. Camilla, Charles, Richard, 20. Bunny is 24, because I guess it's explained that he failed a couple grades and had to get help back. That's why he was 24. But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, they sound so much more mature and older than they really are. They're literally my age, a couple years younger than me. I'm 22. They are like 20 and 21. I'm just like, they sound so just fantastical. But that's because he's romanticizing his life there, romanticizing the people that he was with. It seems like he's forgetting what really happened during that year, during that time at school, and maybe choosing to not input some details into the story. But yeah, I mean, it's no spoiler. They say in the first chapter, in the prologue, Bunny dies. They don't tell you how. It's heavily implied that they have something to do with it. And, you know, the events unfold. This book is wordy. It is very, like, small font. A lot of words on the page. It also, in all of this, it has a small epilogue, a small prologue, and then 8 chapters. 559 pages. And it's only 8 chapters. That was another hurdle for me to get over, because it's just like straight reading. It's straight reading, you know? And there are some, like, cuts in between scenes, but there were some things, like translations, because they are classics students. They're studying the classics specifically. They're in a Greek class. So there were some Latin and Greek and, like, French translations that I had to write down because I just was curious. I said on page 531, all of these people are crazy, because that's how I felt. Again, I said I feel like Richard is dragging out the story. He'll include meaningless details that have nothing to do with the story. Once again, with the unnecessary random details. You know, too much details, Richard, you know, type thing. I was like, what is happening? It was, like, overwhelming at first. Or overwhelming for the whole entire story. But just such odd relationships with each other. Such odd characters. Not necessarily good people, but very, very interesting. I can see how it is a well-loved book because I really liked it. Maybe someday I'll reread it again and find out new things. If you can see the color difference, I don't know if you can see the color differences on the page. I spilled my pumpkin spice latte on it. So, no, it's really a fall book. It's really a fall dark academia, pumpkin latte book. I put this book through the ringer. She's broken up here. I spilled some water on her today, so she's a little ripply on the back pages. Yep, right here. Yep. She's got pumpkin spice latte in her. So, but she's floppy. This is a floppy book, and I love it. I love floppy books. So yeah, that's what I read this month, guys. Really good selection. I'm glad that I was able to finish the Shatter Me series because this one, so pretty. Look at it. And then, look at it. I have not read this yet. This is the new book. See, now they're staring at each other. Now they're pointed opposite directions, so it looks like eyeballs. This is the new series. James. Sorry, I forgot for a second. It is about James. It's like takes place 10 years later because he's actually a late teenager in this, like 18, 19, I think. And he's like 10 or 11 in the book. So, takes place almost a decade later with James. And a new one, a second one to the series is coming out in April. So, I definitely will be... Maybe I'll pick this one back up in April. And when I get the second one. So yeah, that was all that I read in August. I want to show you guys real fast before we go my September lineup. I'm gonna do, if I'm continuing on my big brain fiction books, I'm going to read this one, My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Some good old-fashioned Gossip Girl action. Who wants to drug herself into a year-long hibernation? No biggie. That'll be perfectly fine, right? That one. I will tandem read this and this, Atomic Habits. My fiance's brother has it. One of my best friends has it. My best friend, he is like, I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. So, Jacob, I hope I like it. It's a self-help book. Worst comes to worst, I can always DNF it. I'm just kidding. I'll read it, but I will be tandem reading it tandem reading it with this one. My next one that I'm really excited for, that my two bestie boo-boos, Kate and Becca, recommended to me, The 7-Year Slip. I have 2 of her other books also on my list that I'm so excited for, or my TBR. And yeah, I'm just excited because this, after self-help, after Dark Academia Pumpkin Spice Latte book, and almost knocked my water bottle over, and after this, because I have a feeling this is gonna be depressing too, I'm gonna need a lighthearted, fun romance book. And this is lighthearted and fun, right? Think so. Then I'll close it out with The Hobbit. I am a fan of The Hobbit as opposed to Lord of the Rings when it comes to the movies, because I like Martin Freeman. And yeah, I think this will be good to read. I already kind of started reading it like a couple months ago, but I'll probably have to reread it. This is probably going to be another big brain book, maybe, because of how it's written. But yeah, that's my August reads. That's my September plan. Hopefully, I'll be back with a video soon. I want to do a cleaning out my shelves, cleaning out this old tote that I have of my books. Because I might do like a keep or giveaway type of book video, like a small one. And I have some other ideas that I'm doing. So yeah, bear with me, guys. I really do want to get better at filming more, so ideally, God willing, that is the plan. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to smash that like button, punch that subscribe button, absolutely demolish the subscribe button. Anyways. Thank you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye, 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 bye.